Hello, and Swapforge with another Batman miniatures game Arkham Files for you on Joker's Gang, and today we are going to talk about the clown with the tube. As you can see, he's got a massive heavy tube over there, and well, he's a very simple guy to get across, and what his role is within the gang is very simple. So we'll just go through the stat line and all the usual as the 2+2 goes. So the name is unknown, his alias is a clown, he has the henchman with the asterisk, meaning you can take a copy of 3 of these into your lists, and he is affiliated only to the Joker's gang. So there we go, that's what we've got for the names and stuff. So what is his willpower and stuff like that? Well, his strength's 5 up, his willpower is 4, his movement is 2, his attack is 3, his defense is 2, his endurance is 4, and his special is 3. So already roughly standard for a henchman these days. So we'll go into his weapon. He obviously has the tube. It is 1 stun damage, it's a melee weapon, so no rate of fire ammo, and it's handy and heavy. So you can reroll his hits, and he damages on a 4-up strength, unless of course there are other things to offset that. He has no personal traits, and he has no special traits, so he's got nothing special. He's just a guy with a clown with a mask, and he likes to laugh. He has reputation 14 and no funding, so he's cheap as chips. So what's his role? This guy is very cheap. If he goes 1-to-1 with anybody, he will most likely fall over. After all, he is endurance 4, he will literally fall over as soon as possible. So he's not good in a fight. But he is a blank slate. So going through his weaknesses, as I've just said, anyone will laugh at him. Scarecrow, Fear Toxin will laugh at him. You've got Deathstroke, laugh at him. Even other things like cops or other people's henchmen will laugh at this guy. They will just be killing him instantly. If they feel that they can get a few victory points out of this guy, they will go for it. Endurance 4 basically means he will be losing 1 point of willpower if through damage. So that's willpower 3. Again, not very good before finally being knocked out or killed. So again, he is generally considered weak. But now we talk about his strengths. He's a blank slate, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because what that means is if you've got spare upgrades or spare cash lying around that you can upgrade people with, you can give them armor, you can give them special things like Titan doses and stuff like that, you can give them detrimental laughter, also known as distract, or clown paintings for distract. So automatically, with a bit of funding, he could be a beacon for distract, mass spam of distract. So he already has a bigger role to play in your gang. You fly him up, distract an opponent. If he dies, he dies, but he's got his purpose served. Ready for another heavier guy with an axe, or maybe a free agent or something, or Joker himself, maybe Mr. Hammer, sidekick, I don't know. Ready for another character to go in and beat that face in. So that target's face in anyway. So yeah, again, he's a blank slate, and that's not a bad thing. And with 14 rep, he's cheap as chips. So don't underestimate him. Don't rule him out completely. In addition, he has an asterisk next to his name, so you can take up to 3 of them. So you can take 3 of these guys, cheap as chips, blank slates. They will fall over if they get touched. But again, if you can find upgrades, a back claw even, just to have some person running on rooftops. Maybe if you grab a loot, do a back claw, get on a rooftop away from enemy models, you've essentially got 1 victory point a turn. If you can get into your enemy's deployment zone on a building and manage to be out of line of sight, you've got extra victory points depending on the mission in deployment as well. So again, I want to reiterate, because I need to get this through, he will be laughed at, he will be scolded, but again, the main thing that makes Batman different from so many other games is that it's not as figured out as other games where you've got synergies and combos. You still have them, but there are a wider range of them. It matters more about your strategies and your, not necessarily combos, your synergies within your team. So immediately this guy would usually be laughed out, but if you give him certain upgrades, get him around places, get him to loot and stuff like that, you can backclaw up away from enemy models. Now obviously you've got to factor in flyers, but flyers and other people with back claws, but usually those people will be busy hunting for your free agents, your sidekicks, and your leaders for your gangs. If they are going for people like him on rooftops, then either they are desperate to deny victory points to you, or it's or that's very somehow early in the game. Usually, if you've got a flyer like Hawkman or Hawkgirl, they'll fly off. They'll fly into an enemy leader and start bonking face, if that makes sense. They won't usually go after people like these. So again, it's just the little. It's always about the little things. It's about the team as a whole. It's about the gang as a whole. On his own, he can easily be whacked off and just chopped up into bits. But along with the rest of the team, because Batman is that synergetic to the point where there isn't really a big meta or a dominant meta in the game, even in the stage that Batman is at, just shows how well the Batman game is made, in my opinion. So yeah, you can take 3 of this guy. Again, if you've got Joker as a leader, you can have Chaos Agent, bang. That's technically the Trickster's trait slapped on this guy. You can then arrange all the counters the way you see fit. If when playing the game, if you need to backclaw up somebody but you haven't put the counters on, Trickster, bam. Totally separate layout, totally different play style, as opposed to maybe having Mr. Hammer or Sidekick, or having the Arkham Knight variant of Harley Quinn as a leader. So yeah, again, you're giving traits, you're giving upgrades onto this because of the synergies of the gang as a whole. So yeah, he is a weak character, but he can become maybe not Deathstroke levels of power, but he definitely has a place in your lists if you've got points lying. Usually, because I only have one of these, I usually use them as a points filler. And then if I've got any upgrades that I want that fit the direction of my gang, for say Mass Distract, because I like bringing my enemy's defense down, because one thing that's very hard is defense 5, but you bring that down from 5 to 4 to 3 in some cases. Again, another thing to take into account is that he's very good at dealing the last point of damage to an enemy model. So if you've got an enemy model who has taken a beating and is only on 1 endurance left, usually you might want to fill up the attack on this guy and send him straight out against that guy, dealing the last point of damage. In addition, he can also become not just a distraction beacon for distract, but he can also become an outnumber beacon. And because of how cheap he is, remember, if you can take 3 of this guy, right, that basically means that you can use up to 3 of these as beacons for outnumbered. So if you've got a heavier guy, like a guy with an axe or a free agent who's meant for combat, and he's stuck in combat with another guy, you can use this guy to distract and then move him into base contact with the targeted model, and then that's -2 to their opponent's defense. That makes it easier for or the target's defense, sorry. And that makes it easier for whatever's in combat to virtually murder face right into the target. Now again, your opponent might want to focus on this guy and get not free victory points, but some victory points. That is a risk, but if you've got everything worth taking and you've got a melee henchman on point, then you might want to have 2 in special, 2 in attack, move them in, distract, outnumber, then spend a special for let's go, immediately activate the melee henchman with an axe maybe, or whatever you've got in mind, and then murder face straight after that. Again, that has its upsides and its downsides. Its downside is that your opponent has more chance to react outside of that combat with their miniatures, depending on the number count, but you will be killing that target model. And if that target model appears to be a free agent or a leader, you're getting a lot more victory points than your opponent is for killing this model. So again, it's a massive gamble, but in Batman it is appropriate to take gambles even in the competitive scene. So yes, again, this guy's weak as chips, but you can make him into something that synergizes the gang to make him a bit of an underdog. That can tilt the game in your favour. Never underestimate any of your opponent's models, not even these guys. And that's where I'm going to leave it off for this guy. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what I was talking about, or if you have anything to add, or you want to talk about this guy in question, then please comment in the comment section below. If you want to give this video a like as well, if you enjoyed what I was talking about. If you have this model and you think, or if your friends have got this model and you think this is a good tactics video for your opponents to watch, then please share the video out there, get the name out there, and get these videos shared as much as possible. So, and if you enjoyed while I was watching this, and if you enjoyed everything that you saw, then please subscribe if you want to see more, and click that notifications button to get all the recent updates for the Batman Arkham files, as well as battle reports and hobby progress blogs as well for Batman and other games. So thank you for watching. This is the Warp Forge signing out, and remember, keep on forging.